With Ricochet debuting in AEW at All In during the Casino Gauntlet match, a lot of people looked at him and they said, well, why didn't you, debut him in something more meaningful? Like, some people are going to argue that he should have played a part in the Ospreay MJF match, and so on. Look, Ricochet just got there and he wants to reestablish himself, in AEW. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about Ricochet. He's trying to reestablish himself, and I can understand that. It's like when you go from one job to another. Like you're working at Walmart, okay, you've done a couple of years at Walmart, okay, you're gonna go to Target, wet your feet there, see what it's like. Hey, that's what I did. That's what I did, and there's similarities, but there's also differences. Sometimes you can be a little looser at Target, sometimes you can't be. Sometimes you can be a little looser at Walmart, sometimes you can't be. It all depends on who's running things, who's booking things, and so on, if you will. Now, look, there's no doubt Tony Khan will push Ricochet for a bit. There's no doubt. He might even let him become TNT champion. That's the furthest I think he'll go. The Continental title, maybe. The international title, well, obviously a program with Ospreay for that is a no-brainer. But I think the most likely championship he'll win, probably out of any of them, would be the TNT title because, obviously Tony favors Okada, he favors Ospreay, and Ricochet would still, Ricochet still has that WWE scent to him, that WWE smell. So, I have no doubt Ricochet will be a champion in AEW because, Tony Khan saw him becoming Intercontinental and U.S. champion in WWE. He will give him a championship. He might give him, the 3 singles titles outside of the world title. So I could see that. He might even make him a trios champion for, AEW as well as maybe a tag champ. We'll see. Tony Khan will do what he can if if the opportunity presents itself to, make Ricochet more of a, I guess you could more of a shining beacon, in his eyes than he believed WWE could have made him, or something like that. But the question obviously is, how long is Ricochet going to be there? And reports are it's a multi-year deal, and that could range from 2 years, 3, 4. We know on average, Tony likes to do about 4 to 5 years. But here's what's interesting about that. And I think hopefully Ricochet has taken this into consideration, did some talking. He had an agent help him out, probably at the, bequest of his fiancée Samantha, Samantha Irving of WWE. He probably, had his agent work out a contract to where it's a multi-year deal, but it might have a few caveats in there. And one of those caveats I think he and anybody else should always put into the contracts, especially not knowing what the future is for AEW right now, is an out option. Now, I'm not saying that as a fan of WWE. I'm just saying that that's an option you should have to preserve, yourself, to preserve, your career, if you will, and try to find work elsewhere in case something happens. And, and to me, I think, obviously that's what all of the wrestlers in AEW, the men and the women should be doing, like a Mercedes, like a Ricochet, and so on. And the same goes for anybody in TNA, in hell, anybody in WWE. You should always have an opt-out, option, an opt-out option in your contracts just in case something happens. Or just in case things don't go the way you were promised. And look, that's what I believe, hopefully Ricochet has done that. I believe that, I'm believing that he worked something out, with his agent to get him a deal to where he'll only be there maybe two years at best, maybe 3, and then, maybe go back to WWE. Maybe he'll go back and say, hey, you see what I did there? That's what I want to do here. And Triple H always wanted to prove Tony Khan wrong, and, take shots at him. We'll be like, yeah, hey, we saw what you did there. You know what? You're right. We're going to let you do that here. We're going to let you be you. We're going to let you be you. But, that's the other criticism too. Is Ricochet going to be able to be the Ricochet, pre-WWE in AEW? Is he going to be able to let loose a little bit more than he did in WWE? And honestly, he might. I mean, we'll find out tomorrow night on Dynamite, if he gets that opportunity against Kyle Fletcher. But I don't know. Some people said he'd still look like the same Ricochet he did in WWE. So we'll see. We'll see what he does. If he is able to let loose a little bit more, then fine. If not, and he has to basically keep it toned down and everything, then so be it. So be it. And if he keeps it toned down, maybe it'll be his choice. Maybe he'll see that, hey, there are other men, other men and women doing what I'm doing. So, I'll do that too, but I'm going to keep it toned down. I'm going to wait until maybe the bigger stages. And, hopefully he'll get that opportunity. Hopefully he will, but we'll see. We'll see what he does. I mean, I know people are already criticizing him being there, criticizing how he looked in the gauntlet, in the casino gauntlet and everything, and all that. And I understand that. I get it. I understand. I get that. And, people are already criticizing that, oh, he'll be on Collision in a week or two, or, oh, he'll be on Rampage in a week or two, or, hey, Ricochet, say hi to Ring of Honor for us. People are already criticizing on what his status will be. And believe it or not, it's not just the WWE tribalists or drones, if you will. No, it's also the AEW tribalists and drones. And why would they say it? Why would the people that support AEW and want talents like a Ricochet on the show, why would they say it? Well, one, he's a former WWE guy. But also the fact that if he's going to be Ricochet, they want pre-WWE Ricochet, not the Ricochet that's going to be, the WWE Ricochet just in AEW. That's why they say it. But we'll see what happens. If he does end up being regulated to Collision and Rampage and doesn't get the opportunity he wants, then yeah, I could probably see him, if he has put it into his contract, or he will get his agent, he will get his lawyer, and he'll probably try to find a way out. And again, I believe with Samantha Irving on the other side, she might be an influence. She might be, somebody that told him, hey, put this in your contract, or keep this lawyer and agent's number with you, because if you're not happy, they can help you get out of your contract and you can come back. So I could see that. I could see maybe that being something he'll do if what people are projecting is going to happen to him happens. But we'll see. Tony Khan, again, is someone that likes to try to prove WWE wrong, tries to prove Triple H wrong with the way he presents people that used to work in WWE and under Triple H more specifically. But we'll see. We'll see what he does. We'll see what he does with Ricochet and go from there. But what are your thoughts on Ricochet being in AEW? What are your thoughts? On him being there? Do you think he'll be able to let loose a little bit more than he was in WWE? Do you think he'll be able to be Ricochet pre-WWE? Or do you think he'll be the Ricochet that we saw in WWE, but only putting out the big stuff, the big spots and everything, the big moves, like on bigger stages, within All Elite Wrestling? What are your thoughts? And do you think maybe he will opt out of his contract somehow if things don't go the way he was promised by Tony Khan? Let me know, and until then, I will talk to y'all later. God bless. Take care.